Most guitarists can't do this, but you can. We're starting our music theory journey today. And that all begins with one simple formula, the major scale. 7 little notes, but what a story to tell. In this video, we're gonna learn the formula to build a major scale, how to play it on the guitar, and that's gonna be really valuable because you're gonna use that to build chords, to solo, and it's your basis for all music theory for the future. If you're a Patreon member, you have full access to this video, which includes 5 different fingerings for the major scale, so you can play this scale we're learning all over the neck. But if not, that's all good. You're gonna learn 2 common fingerings to play this, along with all of the theory knowledge, so you're in good hands and you got a lot of value right here for free. Okay, so what is a major scale? Well, we've probably all heard it before. Sounds like this. The most interesting thing that I think about a major scale is when I have students come into my office and I ask, hey, can you play me a major scale on the guitar? They'll laugh and be like, ha ha ha, yeah, no, really, what are we doing today? And then I'll say, no, really, I would like you to play me a major scale. And then they'll go like this. Okay, yeah, I forgot. They never remember. And it's probably because they're not using it very often because they're just doing this. Because as guitarists, we just want to do that. We don't really use just a straight major scale all the time. We're not really thinking in terms of notes, in terms of theory, in terms of musicality, really. But if we wanted to think about music, we have to know a major scale and we have to think about a major scale. So that's what we're gonna start doing today. So, a scale is a collection of notes, right? A major scale is 7 notes that has a particular formula to it. So, we're gonna do a C major scale, and that means we're gonna start on our root or our tonic. So, we said C, we're gonna start on a C, and we got this graphic right here that's gonna show you how to create a major scale from whatever note we start on. So we're in the key of C, our tonic is C. We go up a whole step, that's D, up a whole step, that's E, up a half step, that's F, up a whole step, G, up a whole step, that's A, whole step, that's B, up a half step, we're back to C, that's an octave. So we've got whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. We got a root, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that'll repeat forever, right? As far as your instrument will go. So that is very important for us to know. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now I did that on a C, right? But if I started from any note, I can take that same formula and make a major scale on one string, playing it across multiple strings, whatever, as long as I'm using those half steps and whole steps. And just a quick reminder, on a guitar, a half step is 1 fret, a whole step is 2 frets, right? So if I started on F, on the first fret of the E string, we have F, then we have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. One other thing to remember is that when we're doing a major scale, we use every letter once, and we will not use any letter of the musical alphabet more than once. So, if we're on F, we would have F, G, A. We can't say A sharp there, we would have to say B flat, then C, D, E, F. Which brings me to the musical alphabet. If we're just learning about theory, we should probably make a little pit stop and talk about that. The musical alphabet runs from A to G, and we have accidentals between each set of notes, except for B and C, and E and F. So, B goes straight to C, meaning there's not a B sharp, typically, and E goes straight to F. We don't have an E sharp, typically. But all the other pairs of notes have an accidental between them, meaning we have A sharp, B, B flat, right? But when we're doing our major scales, depending on what key we're in, you may use flats, you may use sharps. For a major scale, you will not use both. Remember, like I said before, we will use every letter of the musical alphabet once. We will not use any letter more than once. So for example, if we were doing G, up whole step, A, B, C, D, E. That's F, F sharp, G. We couldn't say G flat because we've already used G. So we've got the formula down, we can play it on one string. Now, that's not super practical if we wanted to solo, right? Let's learn a more practical way to play it. So here is your first fingering for a major scale. We're starting on the E string. We'll do it in G because we've been talking about the key of G. And we'll be in second position. We got a graphic right here. This is your first fingering for a major scale, 2 octaves, starting on our 3rd fret of the E string with our middle finger. Here we go. Looks just like this. So that is a little more comfortable to actually use, right? Certainly more comfortable than just sliding around one string. Okay, so we have our first fingering down for a major scale. Let's learn one other one. So here's a graphic for your second fingering for a major scale. Let's do this one in A. So we're gonna start on the 5th fret. This will be 3 notes per string. Looks just like this, starting on 5. Up to that 10th fret there, that's your A, right? 2 octaves. One more time. Now, a good way to practice these in both fingerings is not just straight up and down, but to mix up these intervals. So the first way I would recommend doing this would be in thirds. So if we went back to G, it could look something like this. Right, going 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5. Skipping one and then back. This other fingering would look like this. Cool. Okay, so we have a couple ways to play the major scale. Obviously, these are all fully movable. There's no open strings, so we can just move our hand to play in any key we want. If we're in B, we can go like this. Same thing, C, D. The next thing we want to do is think about degrees, right? Every major scale has 7 notes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that's our octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And now all of our chords that we use in a key are made from the notes of our scale. So for today, the last thing that we're gonna do is we're going to learn about how chords are made, and they're made from the root, the 3rd, and the 5th of a scale. So if we're back in the key of G, right, we're doing this. We would take the first note, then skip one, go to the 3rd note, and the 5th, that gives us our G chord. If we then play, starting from the 2nd note, skip one, then skip another one, we have the 2nd, 4th, and 6th. That gives us what's called our 2 chord. If we keep doing that all the way throughout the scale, that's how we get all of our chords in a key. We'll talk more about that in the next lesson, but it's just important to recognize that all of the chords that we build, all the diatonic chords in a key, come from our major scale. The important thing to take away from today though is your formula for a major scale, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and your 2 fingerings for actually playing the major scale. If you can memorize those and take that away from this lesson, you will actually be ahead of a lot of guitar players. I know that may seem goofy to some of you that have been doing this for a while, or maybe are taking music in school and you've taken theory seriously, but a lot of guitar players are just playing and they haven't thought about this, or they've thought music theory is too hard to learn, or it's just like, I'm not interested. But a lot of times I'm not interested is just like, I don't want to be embarrassed by admitting that I don't know something. And that's like really the important thing here, is just the mindset change that like, yeah, that's okay to say, I don't know this yet. I'll take a few minutes and learn it and I'll be a lot better off for it. So kudos to you for watching the video and learning something here. That's all for YouTube. Now we're moving on to the Patreon exclusive. Bye, haters. You made it. Congratulations. Step 1, learning some music theory and learning about the major scale. Yeehaw. Let me know in the comments some music theory stuff that you need demystified, things that you think are not explained that well, or things that you think are too difficult and out of your grasp. I would love to prove you wrong. It's my favorite thing to do. So let me know. Over on Patreon, you can always hit me up with video requests. Let me know what you need lessons on, and you can chat with me anytime over there.